G'day and welcome to Australian Truck Simulator. Aussie bloke is driving into a wall. I drive with 5 idiots across America, and it is a long drive. I hit a bus and then magically go off a bridge. It's not ideal. And Rolo drives off without his trailer. All this and more in Australian Truck Simulator. G'day, I'm Ash, welcome back to the channel. And it's been a little while since I've done a video, it's been just over 2 months, and I thought I'd break out something from the archives and test out my editing skills in DaVinci Resolve. So, let me know how the video looks and how it feels in the comments down below. Otherwise, in today's video, we are going to be picking up a 40-ton load. This is a water silo, or grain silo I think it is, and essentially we've got to drive it through some very tricky terrain, so that's going to be the objective of today. Now, of course, this is archival footage. It was recorded back, I believe, in 2022, but I had so much fun, thought I'd give it a go, give it a bit of a whirl, and make some content, because not everything ends up on the YouTube channel. Now, in the real world, you don't necessarily have a backing cam like this. In fact, it's a bit haphazard. And while I do have a steering wheel and a shifter, I don't tend to really use it a great deal, other than the fact that using a shifter is a 6-speed versus, well, sometimes these transmissions have 18 speeds, so you're not really looking at the most accurate sort of way of playing. Otherwise, we're just coming out of the city. We've picked up our load, we're just entering sort of towards the point where we want to actually utilise the highway. As you can see in the right-hand mirror at the very, very top, we do have a very, very, very wide load. And getting around corners is going to be particularly interesting as everyone else is sort of progressing a little bit, but waiting out for traffic is kind of a bit of a nuisance. Anyway, I started playing American Truck Simulator a few years ago, and this game really encapsulates what it's like to drive in the real world, although it is just a simulator. If my interest wasn't in aviation, then certainly I'd potentially be a truck driver in the real world. Anyway, we're going to take this first corner here and then hopefully hit towards the highway. So again, getting through town and making sure I'm following lines is just kind of a bit of a pain here. With a wide load that is such big, such tall, such annoyance, making sure I get the extra long load around the corner without hitting any of the poles or street signs is going to be a massive challenge. Now the way that we operate these challenges, 19 feet, we're just passing underneath that limit, is by you're not allowed to take any damage, and any police fines or any speeding tickets you get along the way get added to a score at the end of your session. So, no damage, that means no repairs. If you get damaged along the way, well guess what, you're stuck with that for the whole entire trip. And these trips can be sometimes, 3-4 hours in length, and if you accidentally hit a train or hit a car or hit another vehicle and you've done major amount of damage, you may have lost several gears. Anyhow, we're just coasting along here. I'm trying to see what my engine can and can't do. The Freightliner cabover is an old school truck and I really, really like it. I can't remember what transmission I've put in this thing, but it's telling us to turn left here, and we might just about squeeze by. Now I'm going to use the whole entire lane because that is exactly what one would have done. Barely scrape the side. Oh, we're scraping the gutter there. We could have done that a little bit cleaner, but we are in a little bit of a hurry. We've got 27 hours to deliver this load, and time is ticking. Thankfully we didn't damage anything, it was only just a tiny little bit of a scrape, but nevertheless we're going to put the horsepower to the test and continue pushing on. Don't worry about me blowing out my speakers, hopefully they didn't blow yours out there, but some of the gear changes go above a frequency that my recording software does not necessarily allow. I do have a noise gate limit, and for some reason the American trucks, especially when they're doing a certain gear, get into that sort of ratio or that kind of spirit. But turn left into the middle of the motorway, and we're just going to take up as much space as possible, because look at the size of the thing on the back. Absolutely impressive that you're allowed to drive down a highway with this, and we don't have an escort. In reality, we should have an escort. Usually be a truck that would pre-plan a route, and then you obviously plan it for a couple of months. And sometimes, well, at least I've heard from Americans who actually drive in the regular world on the US roads, they don't really plan it a great deal. They just kind of do what they want. But I've seen videos in Europe and Australia where they take massive loads and just go through the tightest space as possible. It's quite entertaining. And I'm going to take the middle of this road here because the game is asking me to turn left as the other guys are doing so as well. This is where I make a crucial mistake. So we've got the green light, we're going to turn left. The other guys are fueling up and they are obviously taking a bit of a respite as we're waiting for a couple of other users, but unfortunately, as we come through the intersection just here, the guys have blocked up the petrol station and there isn't really a lot of space for me to sit. So Cluck Attack over there and Tazza and Australian bloke are both taking up all of the positions, and so the only real position for me to go is a bit forward and then to try and turn back around and regroup with them. Having turned around now, essentially it is hopefully we don't jackknife. We're going to jackknife, aren't we? Well, okay, we've jackknifed and we've done 2% trailer damage. Anyway, after a bit of negotiating and a bit of tight turning, managed to get through. Now it's a matter of getting through this intersection on the other side of the road as well, because we can. And see, as everybody else has blocked off every other possible entrance, I guess it's time to hit the highway again and just get a load of this particular just wide load. It's something to behold. A little bit of driving later and no incidents have occurred. Barely making it under that bridge there. Making good time, we've only got about 26 hours left, so not too far to go. About 2,477 kilometres until we reach our destination. Now we typically do longer runs in our multiplayer sessions, and they end up often being 3-4 hours in just a single sitting, which can be fun if you want to do one single load, but sometimes that can get a little bit painful. But my goodness me, this game is utterly relaxing. It's one of the best games that I've really sort of ever had a bit of an experience with. And there's so many different ways you can play it. If you've got a controller, you can play it with a controller. If you've got a steering wheel and a setup for that with pedals, you can play it like that. You can play in sequential, you can play in automatic, and you can play in manual like the most reasonable people do. Although, while I do have my clutch key engaged, the flappy paddles on the back of my steering wheel are something of which are quite a good thing for me to change gears. I do find it quite annoying with a regular 6-speed, especially when you've got an 18 or 16 gear gearbox, and you really have to press other buttons in order to get a select gear you want. Otherwise, it's power and pedal to the metal. Changing gears here, as we're continuing to push down the highway. Now we're absolutely busting the speed limit here, 105 kilometers an hour, so basically I think that's 65. Essentially 65 mile an hour, we're just pushing it and absolutely pushing it. But we've got a heavy load and we've got places to be, and just gonna basically just cruise all the way down. I'll cut to a little bit later on, right about now, and we're just approaching the area in one of the newer states where I did a video recently about got a green light for the way station, that's good, but just listen to this as I come up to the top of the hill, begin to use my engine brake as we approach the climax of the hill here. It's just delightful, as I thought it was going to have to slow down, but this is an interesting pit stop for sure. Look at the amount of lanes it's got, and on the map there at the bottom right, it's just got some really confusing sort of entries and exits. Also going to take some sleep soon, so we're going to pull off on the right hand side, and we're going to go do that. But what I love about American Truck Simulator is it's just expansive. It's an open world trucking simulator that allows you to do so much. But again, going back on a previous topic, if you haven't seen one of the Dangerous Roads videos where we take a... Oh, that sounds delicious. Get ready for this. And we're going to change again. Just the sound of the truck. But if you haven't seen it, we take a big sort of mining equipment across a very dangerous path in the world. Anyway. Now we're going to stop at the stop sign, and we're going to go hook it left, which we're going to go do. Now, we should have stopped there. Again, No simulation is purely perfect, but for the most part, we're getting around the corners, we're taking over the stop signs, and that's really the most important part. Now we're going to stop here for fish and chips, and a photo opportunity with some of the other lads, as many of us get caught up just driving and doing our own thing. It's like a chillax therapy session, but you're driving somewhere for a little while, and then, you know, you have a little bit of a catch-up, and you fill up some fuel, and I don't know, it's kind of cool. That's kind of why I like playing this. Now, will I fit underneath the service station? The fuel station, the gas station as you Americans tend to call it. Alright, we're going to take a nap here first. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go fill up. And I just love the look of this Freightliner. All the lights possible on the front of this thing. We've filled up with fuel now, and some of the other buddies are coming around the corner now, so we've got Clack Attack and a bunch of other people coming in. So now it's time to park up. Let's have a look at what these loads look like when we're all precariously parked together. Now, having parked up, essentially all we have to do now is wait for the others to show up. And here we are, after taking a couple of pictures, we've chosen Aussie bloke to go forward and test the secret road that is apparently in front of us there, past the truck sign. And off he goes, as we're all sort of huddled up. Will he go through the barrier? The answer is no, because it's not a secret road, it's just one of those spurring AI roads. And now we've got to wait for him to turn back around, which will be, 20 minutes time, providing he doesn't hit any of us. And there he is trying to do a turn and go around with a Mac-R, as well as carrying this massive load. Yeah, we never said we were professional truckers. Anyway, onwards. So, the road is long. It is basically a really fancy looking vehicle, this is, but it is amazing how much more stuff you can get done when you have a bunch of friends who've also got similar loads, and being able to drive in convoy mode is an absolute dream, especially with traffic. Nothing against Truckers MP, which is the original multiplayer version, but it has absolutely no traffic, so, we're constantly having to sort of fight traffic, and there's always delays, and there's stuff, and roadworks, and various other impacts that also impact drivers in the real world, and driving a heavy load like this is a good way to really just, test the waters, so to speak. Now that car is turning right. We are going to take all of the lane as much as possible, nearly tipping the truck over. Just kissing the dirt on the side there, that's perfectly viable. And now we're going to hit the highway again, and hopefully we manage to go across and deliver our load. Now we've still got 2,300 kilometers left, so we've done a couple of pit stops now, and it's a matter of time before something either happens or, one of us gets into an accident. Again, if you take a lot of damage, then you have to drive with that damage until you deliver the load. Unless you do something completely and utterly ridiculous. I'm not saying foresight or anything, but, this game is incredibly fun. And when you set rules up like that, then it allows you to do stupid things like this. AI truck decided to push me off the road. I then absolutely plow into a bus which is merging into this lane, take a lot of damage as it hits my load, lose control of my steering wheel as force feedback locks me up, and I go flying into the river. Yeah, there's no recovering from this, especially after I go tell the other guys that I've gone off the edge of a bridge. There's no recovering this. This is game over for me. And unfortunately, with 2,184 kilometers left to go, that's basically GG. I'll have to pick up another load, follow the other guys, and see if they actually manage to deliver their load. Have you ever had this happen to you when driving down, the interstate? I certainly haven't, although sometimes it's for the best, because this was just utterly crazy, and just kept going as I fell off the edge of the map. I didn't think it was possible to fall off a bridge, but there you go. It is one of the worst things to have happen. But alas, the other guys do manage to pick up and deliver their load. I pick up another load, and that's basically it. And Rolo here forgets how to drive and catches a corner and drives off without his trailer. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. A little bit of a short one, a bit of a testing one. Let me know how the visuals look. I am experimenting with the new editing software, and thus everything's brand new and it's rather annoying. So feedback is greatly appreciated. Otherwise, hopefully you found this a little bit entertaining, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. I forgot that part. Anyway, bye-bye.